What it do, YouTube? You know it's still live, and we back with another one, man. And it seems like people are really loving the Larry Bird ones. So we're gonna get right into a video that's just strictly titled "How Good Was Larry Bird Actually?" And I've learned that he was. I always had Larry Bird in my top five, but I've learned that he's really. I got him at number three now, because I still have MJ and Kobe at one and two, but after that it's Bird, man. He was a dog for real. And we're gonna get right off into this video. Make sure y'all drop a like, comment, subscribe. This was actually a suggestion from somebody in the comments, so if you guys have any other suggestions down in the comments, drop them below, and let's do this.
Larry Bird was one of the best players to ever touch a basketball, and together with Magic Johnson, the biggest NBA star of the 80s. What made him so successful considering he was quite unathletic? And how would he fare in today's NBA? Did he win just because his teams were loaded? And where does he stand among
His teams weren't loaded, not like the way LA was loaded and shit though. Like Magic Johnson had a way better team than Larry Bird.
best shooters of all time? Watch the rest of the video to find out. A hick from French Lick. Bird was born into a poor family in French Lick, Indiana, a town of 2,000 inhabitants. Larry grew up a shy, introverted kid who didn't talk much, and he did most of his talking on the basketball court. He grew up to 6'9" and played at small forward. But with his understanding of basketball, he could play whatever position he wanted. Larry finished his high school career as the best scorer in school's history, and he could choose where he wanted to go to college. He started playing for Bobby Knight at Indiana University.
Yeah, this is why he was my uncle's favorite player, because my uncle was an Indiana fan. And this is why I've known about Larry Bird and seen Larry Bird videos and shit since I was a kid.
Like the spotlight and being around so many people. He then settled at Indiana State University, where the pressure was much less than with the Hoosiers. Larry averaged 30.3 points, 13.3 rebounds, and 4.6 assists in college. The Sycamores were invincible in Bird's senior year and became the #1 team in the country with a 33-win streak. Their only loss came in the 1979 NCAA Finals, where they played against Michigan State, led by senior guard Urban Johnson. Despite 19 points from Bird, Magic and his teammates celebrated the title in what was the most-watched college basketball game in history at the time. Bird was named the Collegiate Player of the Year, leaving Indiana State as the 5th-ranked NCAA scorer of all time. He was already drafted, as the Boston Celtics selected him in the NBA draft in 1978, hoping that Bird, who qualified for the NBA as a junior, would skip his senior year. He opted to stay in Indiana. And when he
See, you don't see people doing that nowadays. If they're good enough to go, they're only going to play 2 years for the most part. Not always. There's a lot of 4 and 5 year seniors and shit in college. There is. But for the most part, if you're one of the greats, you know what I mean? Like people know like automatically like, okay, this kid's going to the NBA for sure. They don't usually play 4 years.
finally arrived in Boston, the Celtics looked nothing like their championship selves, with consecutive losing seasons. Bird then single-handedly caused the biggest turnaround ever seen in the NBA at the time. Boston improved their record from the season before by 32 wins and finished with 61 wins in 20.
In his rookie year? Crazy. In his rookie year, that's insane.
21 losses. Although his arch-rival Magic Johnson had an impressive season and won the title with the Lakers, Bird was named the Rookie of the Year with the average of 21.3 points, 10.4 rebounds, and 4.5 assists. He also made the All-Star team and first-team All-NBA, and even finished 4th in the MVP voting, and proved he could transform a mediocre team into a great one all by himself. A new green dynasty. After Bird's rookie year, the Celtics had a busy offseason. Legendary Red Auerbach worked his magic and brought 2 new faces to Boston that would form one of the big...
See, I'm learning some stuff right now that I didn't know. Like, I knew that he played at Indiana State and stuff like that, you know what I mean? But, like, I didn't know that he won rookie. I watched this other documentary on him, but I don't remember them mentioning that he won Rookie of the Year and improved his team that much on his rookie year. I didn't know that.
Dynasties
if I did
NBA
know that,
history.
I just forgot.
Auerbach robbed Golden State by sending them the 1st and 13th pick in the 1980 draft in exchange for center Robert Parrish and the 3rd pick, which became Kevin McHale. Along with the newly formed Big Three, the Celtics also had an all-star point guard, Nate "Tiny" Archibald, young and athletic forward Cedric Maxwell, and a few well-integrated role players that made the team complete.
Facts.
The head of the snake was, of course, Larry Bird, who was 2nd in MVP voting, en route to a league-leading 62-20 record. The Celtics avenged the loss to the Sixers from the previous year, and after a tough 7-game series in the Eastern Finals, they were in the NBA Finals once again. There they would be met by the Houston Rockets, led by prime Moses Malone, who was arguably the best center in the league at the time.
Thanks.
Malone averaged 23 and
Yeah, I know a little bit about Moses Malone. I've heard his name, seen some of his videos. Not like I haven't reacted to any of them, but he was definitely in his prime and stuff. He was a force to be reckoned with in the NBA for sure.
16 in the series, but the Celtics were too good of a team.
16 rebounds a game is crazy.
And would win the title with 4 games to 2. Bird
Guys, if you're still balding in 2026, what are you?
16 rebounds a game throughout a whole series is crazy.
averaged 15 points, 15 rebounds, and 7 assists for the series.
15
But the
rebounds.
finals MVP went to Cedric Maxwell, who led the Celtics in scoring with 18 points per game. And when everybody already saw the new Green Dynasty, 2 bad years ensued. Despite Bird's all-around excellence and McHale's improvement, they once again were the #1 seed in the East. Bird was the All-Star Game MVP, but Philadelphia retaliated for a close defeat in the Eastern Finals. And this time, they won in 7 games. The year after, the Celtics
That's Dr. J's team, though.
regressed even more, finishing as a 3rd seed and getting swept in the
I'm pretty
second
sure.
round by the Milwaukee Bucks. After that, Coach Bill Fitch resigned and was replaced by Casey Jones, who won 8 titles in the Bill Russell era as a player. The change bore fruit. The team was refreshed with the young shooter Danny Ainge and veteran point guard Dennis Johnson, and played the best basketball in the NBA, finishing with a 62-20 record.
Damn, had crazy good records all these years.
After 3 years of coming in second, Larry Bird finally won the regular season MVP
3 years in a
with
row.
24.2 points, 10.1 rebounds, and 6.6 assists on average. The Celtics steamrolled to the finals, where a known foe awaited. It was, of course, Magic and the Lakers. The title was decided in Game 7, where Larry Bird led the Celtics to their 15th NBA title.
Hell yeah.
Bird was named the Finals MVP, and he finally had his revenge
And he still won 2 more MVPs the next 2 seasons after this.
over Magic, who defeated him in the NCAA Finals of 1979. The following season, the Celtics were even better in the regular season. Bird repeated as MVP, and McHale repeated as the 6th Man of the Year. They got to the finals again, with the same opponent. After the Celtics won Game 1, 148-114, in a game that was dubbed the Memorial Day Massacre, it seemed like the Celtics were going to dominate the Lakers and repeat as champions. However, the Lakers had other plans, and especially Kareem was determined to defeat the Celtics.
Kareem and his old ass out there with his bald spot and shit, bro. Kareem was straight looking like a grandpa playing in the league, bro.
Kareem averaged 25.7 points, 9 rebounds, and 5.2 assists in 6 games, on 60% shooting.
Look, Bird was grabbing just as many rebounds as Kareem, though. That's the crazy thing. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar was giant compared to Larry Bird.
And the Lakers have finally won the NBA Finals against the Celtics for the first time in 9 tries. 1986, the greatest Celtics team ever in the pinnacle of Bird's career. After the finals loss, Auerbach made another clever move. He traded Cedric Maxwell to the Clippers for Bill Walton, once one of the most talented centers in the league, who accepted the role of a 6th man on the Celtics, while Kevin McHale moved to the starting lineup. The Celtics won 50 out of 51 home games that year, which is
50 out of 51 home games. That's crazy. They were dominant at home.
a record that still stands and likely will never be broken. Larry Bird experienced the absolute peak of his game and basketball brilliance in 85-86. He deservedly won another MVP and became the only player other than Wilt and Bill Russell to win the award in 3 straight seasons. The 85-86 season birthed several games that proved the endless basketball genius of Larry Bird, and most notable is the left-handed game.
The left-handed game is crazy. He scored 27 with his left hand and scored like 30 or 40 all for the whole game.
Against Portland, Bird surprised his teammates and journalists by saying that he would shoot the whole game with his left hand because he wanted to motivate himself for a relatively meaningless regular season game. How much did he score? Just 47 points, 14 rebounds, 11 assists with a game-winning shot, and 22 points scored with his left hand.
Pretty sure it was 27. That's what the other videos were saying.
out of sheer boredom and fun. And those are the reasons why he was called Larry Legend. Apart from that, he also scored a career-high 60 points on the Atlanta Hawks earlier in the season. Almost everything he put up toward the basket went in, and he got into such a zone that the Hawks bench jumped off their chairs.
They got fined. They got fined for this, for freaking celebrating when
cheered. Afterwards,
one of them said that was the best money I ever spent.
They received hefty penalties from the Hawks coach, Mike Fratello. Throughout the game, the commentator noted that what he was watching was the biggest shooting exhibition in basketball history. And at the time, it truly was. The Celtics won 67 games in the regular season and lost just one game in the...
That's before Michael Jordan was scoring 60 sometimes. That's before Kobe dropped 82. Like, to watch somebody go out there and shoot like that and drop 60 points back in the 80s was not something you've seen. I don't believe, like, there's not a bone in my... I don't believe for a second that Wilt Chamberlain scored 100 points. I don't. I'm sorry. I just don't. But I think it was a marketing ploy to get people to come watch him. You know what I mean? The NBA, like, a lot. That's how a lot of people who even are around the NBA feel too. But because he was scoring like 60 and 70 sometimes like that, but I don't think he dropped 100. But watching Larry Bird, like, even the other team was freaking out watching him drop 60, because back in the 80s, you've never seen that before. You never seen, like, when Kobe dropped 82 or 81, whatever it was, the other team was freaking out also.
Playoffs on their way to the finals. There, they would be greeted by the Twin Towers of Houston, Ralph Sampson and Hakeem Olajuwon, who defeated the Lakers in the West Finals. But nobody could touch the Celtics that season, who were one of the most talented teams ever assembled. Bird was 2 rebounds and 3 assists shy of averaging a triple-double in the finals, and he deservedly won his second Finals MVP.
Facts.
Final years, injuries, and the Dream Team. In 1987, the Celtics had a very difficult season. Their number 2 pick, Len Bias, tragically passed away.
Yeah, man, I watched his documentary. I don't remember what it was on. It was on like one of the streaming platforms like Hulu or Netflix back in the day or something like that. I watched where he died of a cocaine overdose, I'm pretty sure, if I remember correctly.
After the draft, and they suffered many injuries during the season and the playoffs. But Larry Bird was too good, and they still advanced to the finals after 2 7-game series against the Bucks and the Bad Boy Pistons, where Bird made one of the most legendary plays and stole the inbounds pass from Isaiah Thomas that won a crucial Game 5 for the Celtics. And in the finals again, it was the Lakers for the 3rd time in 4 years. Because LA was much more rested coming to the finals, the Celtics did not have enough gas in the tank to stop the fast-paced showtime. Bird delivered another 24, 10, and 5 for the series. But
24, 10, and 5 is crazy.
Wasn't good enough, and Magic got the best of him once
He would
again.
average 30 in today's league. 30, 35. Easy. Easy. If he was doing this back then, he's averaging that today.
Next year, Bird had maybe one of the best statistical years of his career. He averaged 30 points on 50, 40, and 90 shooting, a feat he achieved the previous...
The way the game is opened up in the three-point ball, like, Bird was a great three-point shooter. You don't think he would be shooting more threes in today's game?
Year as well, proving that he's the best shooter who ever played at the time. The Celtics reached the conference finals, but it would be their last hurrah as the Pistons finally got over the hump and managed to beat them. In the offseason, Bird sustained a severe back injury from chopping wood back home in Indiana.
Nursing feel like a nightmare.
He also fell and hurt it too. I thought he broke it while he was playing. He broke it while he was chopping wood, or did he just hurt it while he was chopping wood?
The sun's distant.
He was one of the best basketball players in the world who had millions of dollars, but he was still the hick from French Lick, who chopped his own wood when he needed to, and I respect him even more for that. The back injury and surgery on both Achilles tendons caused him to miss almost the entire 88-89 season. However, even debilitated, Bird was better than most players in the league, and despite needing to stretch for more than 2 hours to be able to run, he was still very productive. He was named an All-Star each of the last 3 seasons.
Damn, I didn't know that either. I didn't realize he was an all-star even in his last 3 seasons while he was hurt. That's crazy.
Some memorable performances, like a game in the 1991 playoffs where he suffered a concussion, but then pulled a Willis Reed and came back to the game. Scored 17 points in the second half.
He didn't just suffer a concussion. That's when he broke his face, I'm pretty sure.
and won the series for the Celtics. Unfortunately, the toll on his body was getting too much to bear, and he ended his career in 1992 when he finally became teammates with his good friend Magic Johnson on the Dream Team. Bird flew off into the sunset with the gold in Barcelona, retiring as the best small forward and the best shooter to ever play.
Fact.
Legacy. Trash-talking god, top 10 player ever. One of the most famous Larry Bird trash-talking stories is from the 1986 three-point shooting contest when the legend walked into the locker room and asked all the other participants,
I just want to know who's going to come in second.
Who's coming in second after him. Of course, he went on and swished near every three-pointer and won, all without taking his jacket off. Bird would win the three-point shooting competition.
Michael Jordan said something about he didn't even take off his warm-ups or something like that.
In the next 2 years as well. And before Reggie Miller came along, there was no argument who's the best shooter ever. On the 26th of December 1990, Indiana's Chuck the Rifleman Person said he's going bird hunting before the Celtics game. Bird replied that he'd got a Christmas present for him, and while Chuck was on the bench, Bird got the ball in the corner just in front of the Pacers bench. He hit the jump shot, turned to Chuck, and said Merry effing Christmas. And that's who Larry Bird was, and how he talked.
Merry effing Christmas.
He was the ultimate competitor, and he had all the
I'm sure he didn't say effing. I'm sure he said Merry fucking Christmas.
in the world to back it up. He'd tell players where he would get the ball, what he was going to do, and then do it. And there was nothing they could do to stop him. He accused the opposing team of putting a white guy to guard him because he felt that was...
That's the funniest one to me. The fact that he felt disrespected because a white guy was guarding him and not a brother, like, had me dying. He was like, you can't put a white guy on me. You better get a brother out here to guard me. That shit had me cracking up, dude.
Disrespectful. And if you watch Space Jam, you know that Larry isn't white. He's clear. Bird would drink half the bar under the table. Sometimes he'd fight people in the bar as well, and then go to the game the next day and dominate as if nothing happened. Bird was a unique player, and there was nobody like him. At first glance, his moves look almost clumsy, far from physically dominant or athletic. He rarely dunked. His vertical was average at best, and he never played exceptionally fast. From the neck down, in basketball terms, he was nothing special.
No.
From the neck up, until the end of his fingertips, he was pure genius.
Facts. That's a good way to fucking put it. He wasn't athletic, but his fingertips and his brain, man, like, he was something special to watch, bro. I'm learning, like, how special Larry Bird really was, man. Like, and when you watch players like Dirk Nowitzki and players like that, you realize, like, everything they do, they like, it's kind of like, maybe they didn't study Larry Bird particularly, but every move that you see like Dirk do and stuff, like, you could see he got it from somebody who got it from Larry Bird. Like, those moves, like, you put them side by side and they look just like you. There's so many players like that.
There's no doubt that he would be a great player in today's era, where we can see players like Doncic and Jokic dominate the game without great physical talent. Bird was one of the top 10 players who ever played, and one of the best pure shooters ever. He was the best player in the NBA for almost an entire decade, despite the brilliance from Magic and the athleticism of Michael Jordan. And like Magic Johnson said, there will never be another Larry Bird.
Nah. He was great, dude. Like, I always had him in my top 5, but, like, I really do have him at number 3 now because he's like, some of the shit he did on the court was just pure amazing. There's nothing else you could say about it. It was just amazing. But I'm probably going to do one more live for tonight right after this, man. It's still live checking out.